How it's done, done, done. Rumi, the high note from How It's Done. So this was a goosebump moment. The girl who like does Rumi's voice for the songs, I like talented. Wow. So let's try and draw this. I'm on a landscape page. Pencil, eraser. Hit pause if I go too fast. So eyes closed, mouth wide. Center point of my page is here. We'll come up over to the right hand side. Head is in here. And we'll start with our big eyelashes, right? And closed, right? So about here, and we'll just curve. We'll do the line at the bottom first, right? So kind of bends down and spikes up. Okay, now it's real thin up here and thick at the back. So what you want to do is start thickening from here. And every now and then you could add like a little spiky eyelash if you wanted. But like a solid block of black works too. Doesn't have to be like eyelashes really. Dum, dum, dum. Da, 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 da. Okay. So something like that, right? And she has like a little eyelid line kind of underneath, just delicate sort of, because she's, you know, the 3D modeling is kind of all smooth and stuff, so it's not a lot of wrinkles or anything. And then the eyelid line sort of above this, kind of again a light sort of curving line kind of there. Of course she has the purple mascara spike coming that way as well, but that's not drawn in, it's done with color. So her eyebrow, again kind of like a little bit hairy at the front, and then it gets kind of smoother as it goes back. Follows the arch of her eye, and then the top as well, and we get real thin as it goes to the back of her eye, so it gets like real spiky and thin. And then they do some frowns because she's like peak performance, trying her best. So a little frown wrinkle there, and maybe like a light one again here, and then starting to go the other side as well. We get one just there on the other side. Her nose, right? So we'll do the bridge of her nose. We'll draw it in anyway. Sort of curving around here. And the tip of it just comes down. Like that probably. And then we have a nostril in here, so like a dark sort of shadow, like that. And then another one on this side. And then the skin of her nostril just comes around. Very small noses, these characters. And then a little bit just maybe sticking out on this side as well. Okay, so her other eye closed as well, just in behind the nose here. Probably touches it even. Just about touches it, it's pretty close. And then we get some eyelashes probably sticking off. It's a bit blurry, but I would imagine they stick off here. darken it up a bit. And then again, we get a bit of an eyelid line just here. And then a little eyelid line just underneath her closed eye as well. We get the eyebrow. Now we can only kind of see half of it because her head is turned away. So you get a bit of a hairy start and then like a little spike just at the front. And then it goes around her brow. So kind of it's half the size of the other one, pretty much. Maybe even less than that. So it kind of stops here, you know, because her forehead goes around there. Might as well do that while I'm here. So it's just like her, you know, her brow in there, like a piece of skin. Oh, it's done. Right, so her mouth, right? So it's like, what would be the shape? Like a capital letter D or something. So say like in line with this nostril, right? Just down here. It'll be the open side. So it'll go down this way. Kind of dips in and then goes out a bit, right? So this is where her top lip is. This is where her bottom lip is. And then the top lip will come around the top here. Right, so it kind of curves a bit, goes down. And then it dips down, but then it comes like back up, right? Just under her nose, there's like, you know, that top lip area. And then this is gonna go back. Now this is the open wide side, down. It's kind of tricky now. And it comes to a point here, and it's kind of in line with the inside of her eye there. See that? That's how far you want to bring that curve. So then it starts, it has a point here, so it starts to turn, right? So it goes back down and joins the outside of the bottom of her lip. Down here again. Okay, and that's kind of our shape. So it's kind of like a capital letter D. That's what I always think of. It's got a few curves and stuff, just due to the nature of the shape of her lips. But it's like a curvy capital D. So then, some details inside, right? So we've got like her top lip and teeth, right? So like her top lip. So we're starting here, we get the inside of it there as well. So kind of, you're just going around the shape that we just drew again. You're kind of tracing it, but it gets kind of skinnier as it comes down to the corner. You know, you're kind of following that arc. And then this kind of disappears into the skin of her mouth there. But then it's sort of, to do the inside of her lip here, you gotta like come back out and you follow that arc again. So you're gonna go following that shape. See here? It's like starting skinny and then getting wider. And then curves around here and kind of disappears into her mouth then. Okay. Tricky enough. So we can see her tongue just kind of sticking out here. So it's just like a round sort of bit of her tongue kind of sticking out. And I can vaguely see a little bit at the back, maybe. but it's very dark back there. So I'm not sure if that's the back of her throat or her tongue. I imagine it's her tongue, so I'll do this. Something like that, right? Could have like, you know, just some, but it's all like hugely shadowed in there. There's no major lines or anything in there. So you might have like a little just line for where her chin starts underneath her bottom lip, like very light sort of line there. And then the chin itself curving around here. Just to mark that there where her jaw starts. So the jaw continues. So it goes up this way, traveling. And it kind of changes direction then up towards her ear. So it's her jaw on this side, but we get cheekbones on this side, starting from her eye. So the eyelash area just starting sort of here, curving around this cheek, like that. All right, and then it just comes down here. I just noticed I forgot her teeth. Okay, we can actually see her teeth in the shot. Forgot about that. So we can just go across for the teeth here. These white. And every now and then they do a little bump on them, like a little sort of V or something. Well, you could just do a straight line, you know, if you didn't want to do the V thing. Yeah, I think it looks better with the teeth, actually. You can leave it without the teeth. I didn't even notice. I was surprised. I was like, oh yeah, teeth. Okay. So just above her jaw here, we have her sideburn for her hair. A little V shape. Okay. And this becomes her ear. So her ear comes around here in this gap. It's kind of in line with her nose. Okay. Just if you're wondering the height of it. And then it curves down to her earlobe. And they don't actually draw in much in the way of bones and ligaments. What they do is they do her little bumpy part here. I know it has a name, but I can't remember. And then I think it just curves around here. So they don't like draw in much of the anatomy of the ears. And then we have earrings. So metal stud earrings. You know, lots of these kind of things like that. And then there's like a big jewel one here. And then a ring one. Coming around that way. Okay, so I'll just come over and finish her forehead, and then we'll do her hairline. So her forehead comes this way. And then we start to get sort of zigzag lines like this because her hair grows out from her skin here. Surprise. Right, and then this starts to go down. It gets a bit smoother down here, but you can do it zigzag still, but I'll probably just do this. So there's two parts to her hair. So we have the tied part. Well, it's all tied, but there's like the big ponytail and then the round pulled back part. Sorry, excuse my sniffling. Got a bit of a cold. So the tied part starts here. The big ponytail. Right? So it's like a love heart sort of shape. Right, and then this comes down here. Right, and then I think the round part, probably best to draw this first. Bump it around here. This goes all the way down to the back of her neck then. I think it's like starts, her neck and stuff is here. So then we'll add some textures just on this, following the curve of her head. Da-da-dum-dum-dum. Right, and then we got to finish her braid, the ponytail braid. So going down this way. Da-da-dum-dum-dum. Yeah, this way. Gets quite long, and eventually it goes by just behind her shoulder, so down here somewhere. So we'll stop it there maybe, and we'll add like a bit of texture to these as well. Okay. Now, clothing, right? So the jacket is like pretty complicated. So I'll draw the general shape for things first, and then maybe your hand, and then we'll add details to the jacket. But you could stop your drawing without the details on the jacket, of course, and you could just go yellow and black color or something. But let's try. So her collar comes out here. And then she has like a polo neck, like a high collar shirt on underneath, which curves down here. I will give her a neck muscle because it just looks better in a drawing. And then the collar, black leather collar, goes that way, down. And then it goes diagonal down, following where the zipper is. So that's the inside line, and then the outside line there. And then we have the zipper part inside the sort of silver. It doesn't have to be dead straight because it does bump and wave. And then we'll just do this. It's easier. You could draw in each individual thing, but very complicated. And then a button here, it looks like, which buttons over to the other side. So this seems to be like here, sort of hanging down a bit. And then there's another silver button there. There's like all the edge lines on the leather. Okay, so the zipper then on this side comes down. A couple of these lines just for the black and the silver coloring, and then some diagonal or horizontal zip lines. Right, so she has a piece of jewelry here, circular silver sort of pendant. Or like a locket sort of thing. Lots of little details in this. We'll just keep it simple. Right, and then there's like chains, right? Now chains are notoriously difficult to draw, so I'll just do them in black. You could do them in silver if you wanted, but the easiest way to do it, I think, is with like a thick pen line. So they're kind of overlapping. So then this way, that way. And goes into the next one. One disappeared there. And she does have another silver chain here, but it's kind of bumpy. Just goes around the back of her neck. We kind of got like this sort of stuff. Right, and then we could have some like folding lines on her clothing. That's basically it. It's just white in there. Okay, shoulder. So wide leather jacket, right? Very wide shoulders because of the big jacket lines. And then this comes down her arm. This comes out to a hand. But we'll do inside jacket line first. And then on this side, we got a bit more detail, right? So there's a bit of embroidery. So there's a couple of bumps. And then she has like what I would call a armored shoulder pad with spikes on it, right? So kind of curves down here. And then her arm will go off this way. And then there's a line just there. It's kind of like that line. Right, so there's some spikes, right? So spike there, curve, spike here, and then a bit of a bump, and then a spike there somewhere. And then there's like an edge line to this. Just following that shape, and then we'll make these look like pyramids, right? So to make a spike look like a pyramid, you do a little shallow angle underneath, and then a line down the middle, pyramid. So a little shallow V, and then line down the middle. And then where's that one? Maybe there. And there's actually another fourth one in here. Just there. And then there's like a pink line. And a line down there. Something else here. Now, there's loads of colouredy stuff in there, but I will come back to that. We'll get her microphone hand in first. You could just colour that yellow and it would look super cool if, you know, that's all you can do, which is nothing wrong with that. You know, but I'll do the hand and then I'll come back and do as much of that as I can. So she has a yellow sleeve. So we get the hand coming up here, say. Right, the other side. Like that. There's a few folds on it just to show that it is bumpy. And then her hand comes out of her sleeve, right? So curves around here. So you leave a bit of a gap here because her hand comes out. Her wrists are super small. So we'll do them small. So her line, the cuff of her jacket comes out here, and it has an edge line to it. And then her small wrist, like it's teeny. Like it's really small. So like here. Smaller than you would think even. And then her hand comes out this way up to the thumb. But it's kind of like a wine glass sort of shape. And then there's like wrist bones here, kind of. So the hand is kind of tricky enough. Might help to get the mic in first. So we got this like ellipse, like a skinny circle down here. And then the handle of the mic comes right across to her fingers. You could use a ruler for that if you wanted to keep it like dead straight, but we'll just do this. And then there's like a couple of details coming around this here. So we can see her thumb. So we'll just go up. It's pretty straight. They don't do like a lot of knuckles or anything. It's very smooth, everything. And then she has like gel nails, like those pointy sort of gel nails. And then it comes around here and it like squeezes in on a finger. So this becomes like another finger kind of here, and there's another spiky nail there. So it's kind of things overlapping, so it's not the easiest. And the back of this knuckle then is like here. So I'm not finishing that finger because there's another finger over it with another one of those nails, right? The level of detail in these characters is crazy. Right, so her finger kind of goes this way. Very thin, sort of. And she has rings on. So as far as I know, there's a ring here. Which goes behind another ring. On this finger. So that is tricky to draw. The rings kind of mess you up a bit. The palm of her hand or thumb is there. Hands are always hard, so take your time. So we're looking at the inside of these fingers then. They're kind of pointing up. And so they look kind of stumpy because we're looking right at them. So it goes like that way maybe. And then up to one of those gel nail things. So you're looking at the back of her finger. I need to blow my nose. I am sorry. It's ruining the vibe. And then finger up this way. Little finger, pinky, gel nail, so it's extra long, and then the back of it like here. Okay, tricky enough that now. Dun, 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 dun. The mic, okay, the top part of the microphone. So we'll go here. Right, and then it's like just round on the top. There's like a piece of silver here, and then some line around the mic. How it's done. So I imagine there should be like, yeah, some lines like that just around, just to show that the finger is like round in nature. Okay. Now, so that's it. You could stop there if you wanted, but I'll add the stuff that's on her jacket. So it's this big embroidered thing, right? So there's lots of lines that kind of bump and wrap and kind of like spike and stuff. And even the stitching, like it is rendered, which is kind of cool. Just appreciate stuff when they do that level of detail in CGI. It's so cool. So it's got black and white edges to this. So there's like a black line following, and it becomes the sort of cloud kind of. So it's like a spike here, and there's a white line inside. Now I'll do my best with this. Obviously it's pretty elaborate. Like, it's pretty crazy. Wouldn't expect many people to do this. So then it's like blue and red. So say like bumping here. So that comes down to that. So I'll go here. I just thought for anyone who really liked her jacket, maybe they might want to draw it. Right, then we keep doing this shape. So is that the black? What is that? White? Oh yeah, there's another black. So this gets kind of hard now. It's like two little spikes in there. There's more stuff in here. So we'll do that shape again. So what am I looking at? Blue, red, second blue shape there. So then red again, and then blue again. Blue final edge of this goes down into here. And then we get a star. It looks like a star anyway. It has a little inside. And then more blue and black stuff. So like more sort of star shapes and stuff down here as well. And then in here, blue line, black in there, white, black, blue. There's like some blue spikes up here. Kinda like that. And then we have her name here. So we go, there's a box. So it's black around the edge. And there looks to be like a white sort of V-like box here. We go R. Capital R, then small r. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. And then we have like block lettering behind that. We just do the U, so we can just see the top of it here, then the M, Rumi. We gotta do the bottoms, so the bottom of an R, bottom of a U, bottom of an M, and then an I. Oh, and she has then a zip here, pocket sort of thing. Boom. Okay. Did it. Rumi, high note from how it's done. Did I get everything? Oh, texture on her hair here. But this was a cool moment in the movie. Sometimes like a cheekbone line here as well. It's kind of cool. Maybe. Might ruin it, but... Oh. Didn't ruin it, maybe. Just, sometimes I like to do that, but... Might remove it. Might leave it. Who knows? It's a mystery. It's just she does have high cheekbones, so... Alright. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.